Hello, guys. Welcome to another episode of Joy Talk. It's your girl, Amani Joy. Before I get started, I just want to say the pollen in Atlanta is very disrespectful this week. And 2 days ago, I had an allergic reaction. So my voice is not up to par, but I'm going to try to get through this. And I just want you to excuse my voice. Today's topic will be legacy. But before we get into our topic of the day, we, of course, have to get into our inspiration of the week. So, of course, that is when something or somebody has motivated us for the week. And this week, I've chosen Lil Nas X. Some of you may or may not know him, but he struck conversation when Billboard removed his song, Old Town Road, from the Hot Country chart. This song is like a Wild Wild West mixed with hip-hop. Some looked at it as Billboard was being racist because they pulled a black artist off, but some also looked at it as because he's not a country singer. So after the controversy, Lil Nas X put Billy Ray Cyrus on the remix and currently holds the #1 spot on Hot 100. Billboard said it's expected to be one of the most dominant #1s of all time, joining a few others. Lil Nas X is an inspiration because he's a person who didn't let the critics stop him. He even tweeted, "A year ago today, I was in college for some shit I knew I didn't want to do in life. But today, I have the biggest song in the world with Billy fucking Ray Cyrus. Life can change quick. This shit is insane." That is very motivating because to think, a year ago, he didn't even know where he wanted to go. And he kept his faith. And look now, he has a #1 chart with a legend on the song. That's very inspirational because it's like no matter how hard people may try to knock you off your shine, take your shine, like Billboard tried to do him, removing him from the country charts, he still got a #1 spot, and he still was backed by a lot of people who had his back and believed in him. So congratulations to Lil Nas X and Billy Ray Cyrus for the #1 song. So as I said earlier, our topic for today is legacy. Legacy is very, very important for me. I think because I come from a strong household and I come from a mom who's like, my mom has all of her degrees. She has her doctorate. She went to school. She studied. She put it in place for all three of her kids to go out, chase what they want, but to know your purpose and to know why you're doing it. So let's just start off with what is legacy? Personally, I feel as if legacy is about life and living. It's about learning from the past, living in the present and building for the future. I feel without a sense to work for a legacy, you lose your meaning of life. I know that might strike a few, but I'm going to explain what I mean by that. I said without a sense to work for a legacy, you lose your meaning of life. If you're not working to leave a name for yourself and for people to walk in your footprints, I personally feel like, well, what is your purpose of living? What is your purpose of working? I feel as if you're not doing anything to leave something, it's kind of selfish. That's like me not going to school and chasing my dreams. So when I'm gone, people can look at my story and say, oh, this girl has been through this, and that. And she still beat the odds by going to college, getting her degree, starting an international record label, and the list goes on. I also feel as if leaving a legacy is very important because it just gives your name what you worked for that whole time. Meaning, okay, you might didn't get the recognition while you was on earth, but when you're gone and people look up all you've done, people look at all you've been through, that gives people motivation of, oh yeah, her legacy will forever be here because her work speaks for it. You know what came across my mind as well is what's harder, continuing a legacy or making one of your own. And people always say it's harder to continue a legacy because you have to live up to the standards of what people did before you. But I honestly think making one of your own is the hardest because people who continue a legacy are spoiled to me. Like, I know so many, like, for example, celebrity kids. You would think by the time they're at least 18, they'll be trying to take over empires, take over this, take over that. And I just see a lot of people who don't do that. They just sit around. They don't go to college. They sit around and, they might do stuff here and there, but it's just not enough for me. And I always think to myself, like, man, if I was in those shoes, I would be taken off. Like, and that's that spoiled mentality. Like, they already have it in place for them to be okay, basically. And that's why I have a lot of respect for people who make their own way and their own legacy, because we actually put in overtime for this. We have to make our blueprint. It's no blueprint set in stone for us to follow, for us to chase our dreams. And because I come from a household with a teacher, I'm actually my mom's first child to go into communications. So I'm personally making my own legacy. I'm starting from scratch. There's no blueprint that I was given. Maybe if I was going into the education field, maybe it would, because my mom is a great teacher. She's been teaching for 30 years, but nobody in my family has gone into communication. So I already have a broad major. Communications is the most broad major I've ever known. It's very hard because the competition is very high. So not only is it on me to make this blueprint, but I have to network. I have to get around and ask people, find mentors. I have to just use my resources to my best ability, because nothing is set in stone for me. And I feel like leaving a legacy is very important as well, because it gives you it writes your story for you. Like, it writes your story. When you're gone, people can type your name in Google, and your story is gonna pop up with all your accomplishments, that you have made, all of your awards that you have made, all the projects you have worked on. They will all pop up, and that will be your story. You wouldn't have to write your story or explain your story, because your work will speak for itself. I also feel like legacy is important because it gives you something to work for, to know, like, when I'm not here, I want this to be my remembrance. Like, I want people to remember me for this. Personally, I want people to remember me for having an international record label and making it one of the top international record labels, and gain my respect as a woman in the entertainment industry, because, as you all know, it is some very, nice and known, respected female execs, but at the end of the day, the men still take over the entertainment industry, and not even as execs, as rappers as well. Female rappers don't get the same respect, singers, etc. It's just hard as a woman in the entertainment industry, and I want my legacy to be me knocking down all walls to get to where I want to be in the entertainment industry, and take it over as a female exec over an international record label. I want to leave a legacy that my kids, nieces, nephews, anybody in my family, or anybody in general, if they want to come in the communications field, I want them to see all that I've been through, all the hard work that I put in, and say, okay, I can follow this blueprint, and I can be just like her, but even better. You can be even better than me. I feel like a legacy is very important, and I'm so excited to leave my legacy behind. I actually have years to go for work to put in, but you never know who you are motivating. That's why it's also, as you make your legacy, just because you might have stumbles, you might, feel discouraged sometimes, it's always somebody watching you. It's always somebody who looks up to you. So you can never let that determine, you can never let that determine any bad things that go on, because people are always watching you. So you can't get discouraged and stop all of a sudden, because what is that person who's watching you, what is he or she gonna do? Do you want her to stop? Do you want her to feel discouraged? Like, no, you have to keep pushing, which is what I will always do through my legacy, because a legacy is not always perfect. It's just not. It's about ups and downs of what got you to the top. Not just you at the top. No, people want to know what you have been through. What falls did you take? What failures went on? What highs went on? What was great? What awards, what accomplishments did you make? It's all about the good and bad of a legacy. And I feel like making one of your own is the best route because it gains you respect. It gains you, people to look at you different and not know that, oh, you had somebody to do this and that for you. No, I did this on my own, which is just great. I like the word legacy. It's one of my favorite words because I'm determined to leave a legacy for myself. So I do want to hear your opinions on this. You can comment below on any opinions about how you feel about your legacy. Comment what will be your legacy. Comment what are you doing to leave a great legacy. So, ending out the show, we're going to, of course, do our In My Second Life segment. This is when I pull an occupation out of a bowl and tell what I would have done in my second life. Let's see. Interior designer. Okay, you guys, literally, this is exactly what I would do in my second life. Like, I always say this, I always say, if I didn't want to own a record label, I would be an interior designer / real estate agent. I don't know why, decorating has always been one of my favorite things, but what would I have done? Okay, with an interior designer, I don't see myself going to college if I was to be an interior designer, but if I was, I would go to college and I would major in business. The college, I actually would go to a college in LA so I could live in LA. I feel like a lot of people do I feel like interior designer is like a West Coast up north thing because I don't really hear about interior designer a lot down south. Like most of us do their own. Like my mom, I wish I had pictures to show you all our house. You would have thought an interior designer did it. But I see a lot on Instagram. I love following interior designer pages, and I see a lot of people are one interior designer company I follow is based in LA. So I definitely would have went to college out in LA. I don't know which college. Maybe US. Oh, no. I was going to say USC, but with all that's going on, that is a bad choice. Okay, so I probably wouldn't have went to college. Let's just be honest. I probably would have made my way and worked under somebody to, get up there and then work at an interior designer company and eventually own my own. And with that, I definitely would have my real estate license, and I would just flip houses, decorate them, and people can buy them as that. I love interior designing. But closing out, guys, make sure you tune in to Joy Talk every Friday for a new episode.